So it seems like we up to our capacity, so it's filled up quite nicely. Again, thanks everyone for joining. Anyone that didn't welcome to the session. So I'm hoping that you are aware of what session you'll be attending today. So today's session is all about Instagram, and my colleague Zelda actually during lockdown did a great training sessions about Instagram. So I encourage you, if you've obviously don't have any experience with Instagram as yet, go and watch her training sessions. She did a great job in explaining obviously Instagram. So today's session, the one that I'm going to do is just going to elaborate a bit more on Instagram, and obviously showing you all a bit of the more detailed elements that I think we as a group need to maybe be aware of. Obviously, the intention for all of you to benefit from Instagram is that you want to generate some more business. So hoping that we can actually share some insight with you on how you can maybe update your profile and maybe what you can do to generate some more business for yourself, and even looking at some of the ads. So without me rambling too much, I'm going to share my screen so you all can see my screen. You don't need to see me anymore. So I'm going to shut off my my camera. So let's just take that away. Awesome. So just in the chat section, if you can all just give me, or someone just confirm to me that you are actually able to see the screen. So let's just see. Hello everyone. There we go. Awesome. Yes. Awesome. Thanks so much. Okay. So let's get started. And the thing that I want to maybe just start off with is what can we expect in today's session? So in today's session, we're actually looking at your profile. So looking at your Instagram profile and maybe understanding what profile should you be choosing, because there's more than one. We look at some content and how to create content and post it, and obviously have it reach more individuals. Then we'll be looking at specifically hashtags. Hashtags are actually quite important. Sorry, I moved a bit too quick. Hashtags and how they work. Looking into stories, looking into a bit of ad spend, and we'll see how the time goes, and maybe include something to the extent of live video and Harcourt. Not Harcourts. I love Harcourt so much, I'm mentioning it into Instagram products, but it's actually Instagram TV that I'm referencing. So we might have some time to actually look into that as well. The session we booked out for an entire hour. When I was prepping for all of this stuff, you won't believe how much content there actually is available. So let's just see. Sorry, it seems like the screen stopped sharing. Let's just go there and share again. There we go. All should be fine now. So yes, there's a lot of content to cover, so I'm not going to bore you too much. So let's start off with your profile. So your profile is quite important because there's a few features that you get and you don't get depending on the type of profile you have on Instagram. So for the most part, you might not even be aware of this, but there's actually three main profile types that you can choose from. So there's a personal profile, there's a creator profile, and then there's a business profile. So what's the difference? The personal profile is basically just for anyone just out of interest sake wanting to be on Instagram, engaging with their friends, family. It's more of a social network in a traditional sense, where we obviously just like to see pretty things and engage with people that we know. The creator profile is a tier up where now you have a few more abilities to actually see who's seeing your posts and be able to almost get information of who's engaging with your content on a more regular basis. Where with your personal profile, you don't have access to that information. So if someone doesn't like any of your posts, or they don't leave you a comment or send you a message, you might never know that they've actually seen your content that you've been able to produce. And you're also not able to see important things like when should you be posting, because with the creator and the business profile, you actually have the added benefit of seeing when people are at the highest peak of engaging with your content. So often we get the question of when should we be posting? Instagram has that a fantastic tool under their creator and business profile, where you can have insights into seeing when is your content being engaged with most. And then obviously that's a clear indication that you should be posting more at that specific time. Now, I would almost suggest that for most of us, we need to move to the business profile. So the creator profile and the business profile, the only reason why they are different is that the creator profile is more seen for individuals that are influencers. So I'm pretty sure everyone's aware about the word influencer, and people made that their careers somehow. The thing is, with the creator profile, you get a much better inbox functionality where a lot of people can be sending you information and messages and engaging with you. It's easier for you to partner up with different brands where I think for the most part, our business profile, the one that I'm going to go into a bit more detail today, is going to be the ultimate one that's going to be ideal for us, because we can add in things like the industry that we form part of. So obviously we're in the real estate industry. You can add those things in there. There's additional options for people to contact you immediately. So there's a quick access for them to be able to communicate with you immediately. And a few other features that obviously I've mentioned prior to this is just the insights, being able to see who's seeing your post, even if they didn't really engage with any of your content. So let's move on. Then the next part. So I'm going to talk about these 5 items, which is your profile, industry, keywords, links, and highlights. So the first one is true to form. Unfortunately, I'm one of the examples of having an outdated real estate picture. So I don't look like that anymore. So yes, you need to obviously have a good quality picture on there so people can recognize you. But the other thing I actually wanted to bring your attention to is, you see my name is there, and I've actually added, just after my name, real estate agent. So you'll put in real estate agent. I just put in real estate because I'm obviously more associated with real estate in general. But for you as an agent, or if you're actually an office, you can put in real estate office or real estate agency. Have that in there, because when people search for your name in the search function, so obviously the search function is that magnifying the Explorer section, they can search for you. So if they search for anyone with maybe even the same name as you, they will immediately be able to see, okay, well, AJ, he's a real estate person. So if they're interested in real estate, they will have a quicker way of being able to see that you are linked to real estate. Something else that you also need to be aware of, because you would want to have the business profile, changing it up to a business profile, you have then the opportunity of indicating which type of industry do you form part of. And obviously for us, we'll add in real estate. So it will then update your profile to have the real estate information in there. One other thing that's quite important, so this is basically your bio. It's describing who you are, and obviously a bit more information about you. You'll see I've added in, just on the right-hand side here at the top, an example of bio. You have 150 characters that you can fill up with that space. So try and use it as effective as possible. You want people to look at it, so consider putting in emojis in there. You want it to link back, obviously, to a few hashtags that you're associated with. So including things like hashtag real estate agent, hashtag Harcourts, Synergy, Harcourts, Atlantic, Harcourts, Platinum. Adding those things in there will link back to the hashtags in general, so people will be able to find you easier based on the hashtags that you include. And add a few things that will make them understand why they need to follow you and why they might need to engage with you. So you'll see in this example, I've added in here that I'm a platinum agent. So obviously this is an example of an agent that has that ranking or that award status. The type of properties that they're selling, in which area they're selling. Again, putting a hashtag there, your NPS score rating, so this the customer service rating, add that in there as well. You can make it fun. And you'll see the last part is, I said there's a link below, and we'll talk about the link just in a moment's time that I can add. Just another example that you could possibly look at is saying something a bit different. So you might not have the Platinum Award Certificate and maybe the 4.7 star rating for customer service. A few other things you can consider adding in there is going to be, again, where do you actually stay or work? Are you a full status agent? You can again add that information in there. Even if you want, you could put in your that you're a valid FFC or Fidelity Fund Certificate member or holder, and you can add the reference number if you choose to do so. Again, it's up to you. This is pretty much open for interpretation. The message I just want to get across is you want people to look at this and see the information and make it needs to tell them why they would need to engage with you. And it's a great way to obviously do a bit of self-promotion. So consider adding that in there. The next part is all about the link. So unfortunately, this is a big thing that a lot of people have complained about for many years now with Instagram. And that is that you could actually only have one link that you can place in your profile. So there's not an opportunity for you to actually add multiple links. So you can't say, well, click here to go to all of my new listings, click here to go and write a review, click here to go and do something else, or buy a property from me. It allows you to have one link, and that's about it. That's pretty much what you can have. Now, there's a few options for you. You can either decide to take people to your list, your profile. So everyone has a profile online with Harcourts. So if you don't have an agent or office profile, you would ultimately still have one that you can go on the national website, search for yourself as an agent, and you'll be able to find out or find the link that will take people to your profile, where they'll read your biography that's drawing directly from H1. I can see your listings. I would suggest that if you've got an office website, so if your office actually has a website, rather use that link, because it's a bit more detailed and clear for me. And this is, again, it's maybe just more personal preference. But what I've seen is I would almost suggest that you would need to go to the office website, go under the Meet the Team section, go and select your profile, and then copy that link over. And then if someone wants to get more information about you, they can obviously click your one link that you have and take them through there. Now, there's a few things that actually allow you to have multiple links. So smart companies have built systems that can actually help us to extend the one link into multiple links. So a company called Later, they actually do social media scheduling. So it's a software and apps that you can actually download and purchase, and they allow you to have social media scheduling technology. So you can obviously then put in all of your information and your posts at once, and then it will post it on your behalf. So it's a company similar to Hootsuite. So if you've ever heard of Hootsuite, it's a similar company, but they've got a feature called linkin.bio. And this is something unique to them. And what's nice about that one is you can actually have your posts. So let's say I've just posted my recently listed property. I can then choose to go and say, well, if someone clicks on my link, my linkedin.bio link, they will see that specific post with a link then to the actual listing on the national website or the office website. I might have posted something today about offering free valuations. I can then take that image that I posted and again assign a link to it. So if someone opens up that or clicks on that link, they see the image that I'm offering free valuations, and they click on it, it will then take them to the office website where they can obviously fill in a lead form and get information from there. Another company that's also doing something similar is Linktree. So Linktree allows you to have multiple websites as well. They don't have the images available on the free version. So if I say images, basically all that will show is a title. You'll give the link. So for instance, I would say, view my listings, and then there's a button and they click on it. And that's the only reference they have to find out what they can do with that link. If you go to the paid version, you can add images in there. So that's about $6 a month, but a free version would suit most of us. So if you know that you want to push people to your listings, you want to possibly take them to a valuation page, you want to take them to additional biography and more detailed information about you, consider one of those options, the Later platform or Linktree as an option for you to use. Another one that I would encourage most of us to start adopting a bit more is the stories highlights. So story highlights is that section there you see where you can take all of the stories that you've published and actually put them into one of these highlight sections. So for example, I've added a few options for you. So you can have a sold highlight. So if you place a story on your Instagram and it's about a property that you've recently sold, you can pin it basically and add it into your sold highlights. New listings, you can do the same thing. So as soon as a property is a new listing, you can add all of them in there. tips, maybe some property tips or buying tips or selling tips, add those things in there as well. Again, it needs to be a story first, and then you can add it to your highlights. Reviews, what clients are saying about you. So maybe some of your testimonials that you've received from clients, convert it over into a single image and then add it as a story and then save it to your highlights. Updates about the market and some of the awards that you've won. The reason why, again, I would encourage you to maybe look at this is if someone decides they want to view your profile, stories are exceptionally popular. And you'll see in a few minutes time when I explain to you how the story compared to normal posts, that we shouldn't be missing out on people actually clicking on these highlights and learning more about us, because they then get a bit of insight. So you can, again, do some self-promotion by adding some important tabs here. It's educating the client and obviously showing them that you're competent in what you're doing. Content. So posting content, this is obviously, I think, a big part for most of us is understanding the type of content we need to be posting. So I want to start off by maybe giving you an example. For most of our posts that we do, and please, I'm including myself in all of these things. This was a major learning curve for me as well. I actually went and updated my entire Instagram after preparing for this training session. So I'm here with you all in terms of getting our social media on track. But for the most part, we forget that social media, especially on Instagram, people shouldn't be seen as clients. They should rather be seen as an audience. They waiting in anticipation for us to show them something amazing that will make them scroll through and stop and actually take notice of whatever we're posting on there. So we should be thinking about the way that we post things in a bit of a different way. So the audience that we want to target, we need to maybe understand what are their needs. So if we have a clear understanding of obviously who the client base is and the audience that we're trying to target, have a look and make a list of the needs that they currently have. After we understood what type of needs they might have, we need to look at what skills do we actually have and what information do we easily have access to. Once we know those two things, we can see where they overlap, and we need to look at the overlap, and this is the key part where we can actually add a lot of value in. So typical examples is if we understand that most buyers maybe doesn't understand the process that needs to be followed when purchasing a property. We have the skill set to understand what that process actually entails because we do it on a daily basis. So the content we should be producing needs to highlight the fact that a client has a need to understand the process, and we have the skill set to be able to explain it to them. So our post should ultimately look at that and say, well, we can maximize our post by actually delivering something that is worthwhile. And I know I'm definitely the person that's posting cappuccinos and food and all that stuff. But for the most part, I think my mind has also been changing about the type of content that we should be producing, and showing that there's actually value we can add, because there's a captivated audience that's waiting for really good information. The selling process is another one. Many of our clients have no idea what the selling process actually entails. And we've got that knowledge, and we should be sharing that knowledge with our audiences and educating them. For the most part, we've always seen that many of our clients and many of the conflict and many of the complaints we receive is due to someone not understanding how things work. And we can try and avoid all of these things by making sure it's pretty clear what process needs to be followed by when purchasing a property. Understand who's responsible for a COC certificate, what's the average time frame, what things can be included and what things can't be included in the sale of a property. There's a whole list of things that we can actually put down, write it down, and see if our clients have an actual need to understand them a lot better. Besides that, Facebook business. So there's actually, not Facebook, Instagram business. There's actually an Instagram for business account that you can go and follow. And they've actually recently given us a bit of an update in terms of what content really performs well on the platform. And basically the three themes of content that do exceptionally well is educate, engage, and content that excites people. So again, a few examples we can maybe look into this is like I mentioned earlier, educating our clients about the process, even educating them about why you decided to join real estate. So taking them through that journey. What made you decide to become a real estate agent or a rental agent or a business owner in a local area? There's a lot of information we can share there with our clients, and again, a bit of a personal touch. Engaging, asking people to give comments and feedback on important things, asking questions where they can possibly say what are some of the pain points for them when considering selling a property. By asking questions like that, we shouldn't be fearful of the response, where there will be a lot of clients that obviously will be quite critical about something that might have happened to them in the past. But it's a massive learning curve for us, and we should then say, well, if I see that a client's upset about the fact that agents aren't following up with them or calling them back, or are basically not giving them the service they need, it just re-emphasizes the fact that we should try to not be those agents. And yeah, have a look at what our clients are saying. And exciting. So I think for the most part, exciting is really interesting, and we can obviously look at that in a different sense. But for the most part, our offices are doing posts like new listings on the market, just sold, just listed, but finding different ways of doing it to actually make people a bit more excited about these types of pieces that we produce. We at Harcourts actually have a digital marketing calendar available. So after today's session, once the session is recorded and uploaded, I'll personally be sending out the link, as well as some additional content I think you all should be aware of, and obviously that you can use in your Instagram profile or business. But one of them is going to be the reference to our online, well, not rather online, but our digital marketing calendar that we have available. So this calendar was actually created already quite early in the year, and it's already existing on our H1 system, so you can go and download it, but I'll be sending it through to you. But a few things to remember when setting up a calendar is that you actually need to take some time to add the date that you will be actually publishing some content. What's the general theme? So you already, from the previous slide, saw that. Is it going to be educational? Is it going to be something that excites clients? What captions do I think I'm going to add in there? Visual description. So just maybe give a bit of an insight. Is it going to just be of the property? Is it going to be of me standing with a sold board? Is it going to be something, maybe I'm taking a picture of the water meter and just use that single image as something that will obviously go into a bit more detail about best practices for saving water. There's a whole host of things that we can include in there. So obviously giving a bit of a visual description. What format am I going to do it in? Is it going to be an image? Is it going to be in video, or is it going to be a carousel? And we'll talk a bit about that a bit later. And then platform. So platform, obviously, Instagram is the one that we're talking about today, but it can be repurposed. And even if I'm creating something, I should consider maybe it can go on Facebook as well. It can also go on LinkedIn. I can even maybe, if it's a video, put it on YouTube as well. So those are a few things that I would suggest when we look at your calendar. Add those things and try and do a week planning and see what you can produce. There's without a doubt enough stats that show the more often you get an opportunity to post good quality content, and again, the word is good quality content, the more your audience will expect things from you, and they'll be engaging with you a lot more. If you decide to have a calendar that actually has some sort of structure to it and not just ad hoc. And again, please, I'm with you all. This has been my process for the majority of the social media strategy as well. But I'm actually taking this really serious and taking it to the heart and seeing if there's a way that we can obviously improve on that. So just to show you a few of Instagram posts. So I've actually been able to look at some posts that I've done really well, but these are just static images. These aren't videos. And there's nothing that's really different about these images that you'll see over here than what we can already be posting. We can also be putting up just sold. We can show ourselves working. We can show some nice interiors of properties. A few of you actually have Matterport, so maybe highlighting the fact that you've got Matterport. A few interesting things. You'll see there, obviously, that's not a South African post where it says what a deed is assignment. But we can have something similar to say, well, what is a deed of sale? Landlords say, and the law says. There's a lot of interesting things that we can use, and it goes back to that. What are our audience's needs, and what information do we have access to that can fill the gap? Now, if we look at the following things in terms of the posts, so this is me typically simulating a process of actually adding a post onto Instagram. So the first thing we'll be looking at is image. So you can have a static image, just one image that you add on there. You can decide to have a video, so I can even upload a video on the platform, or I can decide to actually have a carousel. So carousels are actually doing exceptionally well now. You might be seeing a lot of them on your Instagram profiles, but carousels are basically at least 3 images that I'm adding, up to 10 images that ideally a client needs to swipe to see the next one. Now, just some information maybe from what I've been able to at least ascertain from people that say that they know a lot of stuff about Instagram, is that Instagram's algorithm has been set up that if someone starts scrolling past the 3rd slide, you get a lot of credit for creating good quality content. So the target should always be that you want people to be attracted by the first image, give them a reason to swipe, give them a reason to swipe, and give them a reason to swipe. Because as soon as they get past the 3rd image, that bodes very well for you in terms of getting this content exposed to a lot more individuals. So when we're talking about exposure and contact and organic reach, so in Facebook terms, Facebook is pretty difficult now. For almost the last 2 years, I think they had legislation or changes made in 2018 with Facebook, where they've drastically reduced the amount of content being seen organically. So you most likely don't see anything organically from anyone that isn't a friend of yours, unless it's an ad that you'll see. So ads obviously have gone up. A lot of people are spending money on ads. But with Instagram, the reason why I also decided to do this topic today is because of the fact that there's still really good opportunity for you to be found on Instagram organically without needing to spend a lot of money. But obviously there's a process involved there. So working with information that I'm sharing with you, where consider putting in carousels of the recently listed properties, or another post. I'm pretty sure everyone has seen those really nice pieces of content that the marketing team put together to explain the selling process. Each one of those blocks are actually great carousel pieces. So if I add all of those blocks into a space like this, they are actually really good content pieces for me to have a lot of people swiping, and that will benefit me and have my content reach more individuals, because Instagram says that's good quality content if they scroll past the 3rd slide. So something else, so we've got our image on there. Now we need to write something about the post. So the things that are highlighted in blue, there's not a highlight option in Instagram, but I just wanted to show you again, I've incorporated some hashtags, some emojis into the actual description about the property and what I'm marketing over here. So you can go into a lot of detail here in adding as much information as possible with your actual posts. You're allowed to add up to 30 hashtags. So 30. There's not as far as most people say, there's not a magic number of the best amount of hashtags to add in there. However, there's a lot of opportunity for you to add. With 30, it's a ton. There's actually a lot of hashtags that you can add in there. And we'll be talking about hashtags in a few more slides. So just the idea of having something ready that I can update and add in there. The idea is start with the most important thing someone needs to read right at the top, because very seldomly we find people reading all of the information. They might read the first sentence or two and then stop reading. So make sure that the most important information is always at the top. The hashtags have no impact in terms of the person looking at this piece, unless, well, the biggest benefit of having hashtags is that people can find you if they follow specific hashtags like just listed or property rated hashtags. They'll be able to find you because of the post that you've actually added in there. The last one that I want to mention while adding this section in is location matters. So another reason why you might be seeing content in your Explorer tab. So the Explorer tab is something that's different from Facebook. So in Facebook, you've just got a feed. So you'll see only things that obviously show up in your feed. With the Explorer tab, it's that magnifying glass. That section, if you go into Instagram, that's where Instagram actually then shows you other pieces of content that it thinks you might enjoy consuming. And one of the ways that they actually show you those things is based on what you've looked at in the past. So you'll see, if you go and look at properties and architecture, you'll see more of that. But another thing that also helps a lot is something like locations. So if you put in locations and your location is a specific area, it actually helps to show you more content from the area that you actually are located in. So make sure that when you actually add posts, you put in the location. If you want to obviously be known in a specific farming area, make sure you own that farming area by every single time putting in that area that you operate in. And even with the hashtags, making sure that you create a hashtag. If there's not a hashtag for your area, so moving to Pretoria. So if there was, if that hashtag doesn't exist, claim it, get it on your side, and make sure that every single time you post something, you put that moving to Pretoria. Because again, all of these things link up back to Google, where again, there's search engine optimization, making sure that we can benefit from really putting in good quality posts, hashtags, adding locations, good quality images. All these things matter. Now, I mentioned just a moment ago, search engine optimization. So many of you might not even be aware of alternative text. So alternative text is an option for you that will also help search engine optimization. Now, if you're completely unaware of alternative text, I'm going to quickly take a moment just to explain to you what it actually is. So alternative text is where you need to describe something for Google, because there are people that are unfortunately blind, they can't see something. So the alternative text actually is an indication of what someone might have been able to see if they were able to see. So it's a descriptive way of writing what the image actually consists of. Now, this links back to Google. Now, what I would suggest you do is you look at the fact that there's a advanced settings section whenever you post content. So if I go and add a piece of content that I want to post, and I put my hashtags in my description, and I've said I want it on my profile and need to go to Facebook, all those things that are standard, I need to be clicking on this advanced settings section. So I'm going to just play you this short little video that's just part of explaining how it works. Then once I've clicked on advanced settings, I'll scroll right down and you'll see it says here, write alt text. So alt text then opens up the image, and it will allow me to actually type in something in there. So the suggestion is to possibly add your details. So you'll see it says AJ, Business Development Manager, Harcourts Real Estate South Africa. And that's my alt text that I'm adding for every single image or post I add on there. Because as I said earlier, all of this links back to Google. So it helps search engine optimization. So you want people to find you, and it's just another way for you to, in a sneaky way, make sure that you have a bit of an edge above anyone else that maybe even doesn't go to the extent of adding alt text onto any of the images over there. Let's talk about hashtags. So hashtags, for the most part, I think is quite interesting. Hashtags really work well on Instagram, Facebook, not so much. So what can we do with hashtags, and what ways can we benefit from knowing how hashtags work? So a few things that you might need to look at. For many of us, we don't know which hashtags to use, or we use the same ones over and over again because we can't think of new relevant hashtags. Here's an idea to possibly consider when writing your next post and deciding what hashtags to include. So as I said earlier, you can add up to 30 hashtags. Consider trending topics. So you can include things that are quite relevant at this point in time. So not too long ago, we had our interest rate go down again. So people could be purchasing properties and paying less in terms of the bond amount. add something like that in if it's obviously it's relevant to your post that you've got in there. Location based. So again, make sure that you make a conscious effort of adding the area that you operate in as part of the hashtags you include. Descriptions. So describing what is seen in the image or in the post by saying kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, new listing, all these things are descriptive ways of writing. So adding those as hashtags. Interest-based. So who should be interested in this post? So am I looking for new buyers, investors, people that like interior design, architecture? Those are a few examples. And intent is intent is maybe more in the line of your intention. You want to be seen, so you want to add your name. You're part of Harcourts, Harcourts Platinum. You're part of a specific office, a specific area. So it's adding your information in at the last part. So there's 5 content buckets that I could possibly suggest that you consider when adding hashtags. So it's not just the same hashtags being repeated over and over again. Now, you can find out which hashtags actually are quite popular in your area. So if I go onto my second video here, you'll be able to actually go and see if you play, if you go to the Explorer section, you type in an area, you'll be able to scroll and see accounts that have the name of the area in, or you can type in or click on tags and it will show you how many posts actually have been made with that hashtag. As I said earlier, you can also then follow that hashtag. So anytime something is posted with that hashtag, so hashtag Pretoria, then it will actually come up in your feed. So that's why it's good for you to consider adding hashtags into your area, and especially local areas, so that people living in Port Alfred most likely follow the Port Alfred hashtag because they want to see what's new, what's coming up, what's happening in the area. So consider following at least the hashtag and seeing how many posts have been made with that hashtag, because then it should be giving you an indication of how many people are actually using that hashtag on a regular basis. Unfortunately, it's a bit limiting information because you can't really analyze the hashtags that effectively. So all you can basically see for free on Instagram is to see how many times a hashtag has been used if you follow the method that I've just shown you. However, if I decide to go and look at another platform, so a platform called flick.tech, there's a free trial that you can have with a platform, and they allow you to really go very deep in terms of hashtag and how to understand which hashtags work well and which don't work well, and which are popular and not so popular. So the suggestion is you can look at a phrase or hashtag rather. Something in this example is like real estate. So I typed in real estate and it gives you low competition, medium competition, and then high competition hashtags. So it's a great way for you to find alternative hashtags to the one that you use very often. And from there, you can see which ones actually have high competition. So let me explain that maybe for a second or so. High competition means that there's a lot of people vying for that hashtag. So if someone follows that hashtag and you put something on there, in a few minutes, it might be gone. So it's more difficult for people to find those hashtags. However, when you look at a medium one, you might have a better chance of staying at the top of the search for a longer period of time because people don't really use it that often. And when it comes to low competition, it means that very few people are actually using that specific hashtag that's related to real estate. Now, the theory is that you should be using a mix of all 3 of them. If you do stories, and we'll be going into stories a bit later, the idea is try to use the high value ones, because if you then are seen, your stories typically only last, or it just lasts, it doesn't typically, it only lasts for 24 hours. So you can then hedge your bet and say, well, I'm going to use a real estate hashtag, because there's a lot of people that might be adding hashtags, the real estate hashtag, but if I want to be seen, I know that's only going to last for the next 24 hours. Here's a few suggestions, and as I said earlier, I'm going to send you all a mail. So the entire Harcourts group, I'm going to send a mail with the link of today's training session. And in that, I'll include a few of the hashtags that I actually went to go and look on that platform and see which ones perform well and which don't, which maybe have good opportunity for us to actually capitalize on. So you'll see that I've searched, I looked for the hashtag just listed. And here's a few alternatives. So you'll see that this is low competition. And apologies if there's anything that's maybe from a different country or something. It's just what their platform flows out. But it's still worthwhile looking into it. The reason why I highlighted some of them in yellow, the ones in yellow actually indications of hashtags that have received the most likes. So let me just go back. So I've actually highlighted the top 5 hashtags because you can also on that platform go and see which of the hashtags had the most likes. And also it's a good indication that people are engaging with that type of content if they see that hashtag. And you'll also be finding a few here that you can be putting into your post that you might not have been using. And again, it might be stale, just saying every single time, just listed Harcourts and the area you live in. Try and mix it up and see if you can add a few in there. You've got 30 that you can use. Another one is just sold. I did the same activity. Not a lot of demand for those top ones. Medium and high, these are some of the ones that are actually performing exceptionally well. So a lot of people are liking posts that have the hashtag move in ready, on the market, top sales. So they're liking those posts more than they're liking any of these other ones that are on there. Again, the idea is use a mix of all 3 when you add a post. But I'll be sending you a more detailed list. I've actually gone through auctions, I've gone through luxury properties, I've gone quite a few activities, so you'll get an extensive list of the alternative hashtags. So we were talking about stories. This is obviously some information from Domo. Domo is actually the company that helps us to understand how many inquiries we receive. So it's a platform we as Harcourts actually are in some way partnered with, but they released this information piece where obviously it's 2019, we don't have the 2021 yet, but it said here in 2019, every minute of the day that something happened on these different platforms, and you'll see that stories, there were over 277,000 stories posted every minute in 2019. And if we look at the amount of posts, there were only 55,000 posts. So there's a high demand for stories. Stories do exceptionally well, I think because of where it's placed. It's right at the top. It's low maintenance. People can literally just click on it and they can view a whole bunch of people they like stories without really needing to be very engaging. They can literally just wait for the few seconds to pass and they can see the next one. But it does exceptionally well, and it's something that you should be considering to add as part of the posting strategy that you want to follow. So a few things to remember when it comes to stories. So they are, it's seen to be behind the scenes content. So maybe you've got a post of a new property, but your story is you walking through the property, or you may be parking and explaining that you're going to just go now and list a fantastic property and quickly show them a peek of how the property looks like. So the idea is it's more of the behind the scenes stuff, and people really engage with that a lot more because it's really face-to-face and personal. Consider using stickers and polls. So stickers, if you're not aware of what stickers means, if you ever do a story, there is one of the options is to actually add stickers, and stickers is basically just an example of engagement that you can have with anyone viewing your content. So you can add a poll in there to say, well, do you prefer a big garden or modern kitchen? Or you can have a lot of questions you can be asking clients, and whoever sees it, they can, by pressing a button or by adding a short answer, engage with you, and you can then go back and actually see what the response rate was. So especially in your area, if you know you've got a lot of clients that's already on your Instagram, ask them questions, ask them the difficult questions that can help you to become a better agent, and see what the feedback is. You'll be able to learn a lot from that, and obviously it's a great tool for them to engage. And engagement in the eyes of any of the social media platforms are really fantastic. They love having a conversation. As soon as they see something has turned out to be a conversation, they then push that content out to others to also form part of that conversation. Use hashtags. You can only use 10 hashtags. Hashtags. I've said it too much today. I'm tired out of hashtags. You can only use 10 per day, per story. So you can't go 30 as with your normal post. 10 is the maximum you can use. You can also then see who's actually watched your stories. So you can swipe up, and this is a feature that's in the personal account as well, but you can go a bit more detail with the analytics of who's actually seeing your stories. And if someone actually sees your story and they actually respond maybe well to that, you can immediately send them a message. So you can engage with those stories. So if I see someone's story, I can actually click on the screen and either give an emoji or thumbs up, or I can leave a text message. And if someone does that, you can immediately, if you see that, send them a message as well to say, well, I saw you liked my post. Do you think you might be interested in a free valuation or looking at the property in more detail, or whatever the post related content might be. Let's talk about ads. We're close to wrapping up our session today. So the last two parts is going to be our ads, and then obviously just talking about some of the live video and Instagram TV sections. But ads can be done in two ways on Instagram. So I said pay to play. I think there will become a time where Instagram is not really going to show organic content as much as they currently do. So we should be maximizing the opportunity we have. But for the most part, we can already start reaching clients that don't see our posts on a regular basis by paying. And that's going to be through ads. So there's two options, as I mentioned. On Instagram ads, you can go and promote one of your posts. So if I go to my page and I look at the promotion section, I can use one of my posts and actually promote that. So again, let's maybe use an example of I've got a free valuation, a free market appraisal that I'm willing to do. I click on promote. I then have an option to say, okay, well, where do I want to send people that want to engage with my offer? So if it's a free valuation, I might decide to send them, have them send me a direct message on Instagram. I can choose that. You can then decide, who do you want to reach? I've already set up mine based on where I live, but you'll go to create your own, and you can then set it up once and you don't have to worry about it again. So you can put your farming area in there. It's basically similar to the boosting function on Facebook, where you boost one of your posts and individuals see it in the area. Then once I've selected my area, I decide what my budget's going to be. I want to spend 50 Rand a day and run it for 6 days. It gives you an estimate of how many people will see your content. So 7,500 people to 20,000 will see the content. You can play around with the budget, make it less, make it more, have the duration run a bit longer. But if this isn't going to, sorry, the last part is then it just lets you review, and then you can create the promotion and it will then run the ad and it will show it to individuals. So even if you aren't linked to that person, they're not following you, or they haven't seen any of your posts in the past, it's trying to push your content to individuals that are using Instagram. So it's just another way for you to possibly market and be seen if you haven't been able to maybe build up a large following organically. The second option is the one that I would maybe rather suggest. It's a bit more specific, but it's using your Facebook Business Manager. So if you've maybe missed it, there was during lockdown 2 full hours worth of Facebook Business Manager setup and a guide on how to almost get started on Facebook Business Manager. This is the ad platform for Facebook as well as Instagram. So this is the official one. So even if I want to run ads on Instagram, I can use my Business Manager account. This will then allow me to actually just select Instagram as the option to have my ads run. And you've got the benefit of importing audiences. It's more like I always explain it, it's like a surgeon's knife. You can be very specific about who you target. You can even have, if you've linked the account, so I can link my my business Instagram to my my profile on Business Manager. And what happens is, let's say someone engages with one of my posts. I can even go and select that all the individuals that actually engage with that post should also see the ad that I'm running. So it's really good retargeting that you can do from there. And I would always suggest that you maybe go into the bit more specific and more detailed approach when it comes to ads, because then you'll know you've actually set up your campaigns really specific. However, if you want to do a quick one, you're not interested in learning how Business Manager works for ads, you've got the option then to run it directly through Instagram. You don't even need to access the laptop or anything. You can do it directly from your phone. The last two, I'm not going to go into too much detail here. I thought we might not be having a lot of time left, so I'm going to talk about live video and IGTV. So live video, the benefit of live video, and I think we've said that for almost a few years now, the value of going live and actually having something that you can show people on a live platform, it always performs a lot better. And I know that the last few training sessions that we've done, and we've even see some of the external people doing training sessions, a big focus has been on video. The one thing is you'll need to become comfortable with video. So maybe live video isn't the first step that you'll need to do. You maybe need to do some pre-recorded content that you can share as posts. And then once you feel more comfortable by going live, there's a lot of benefits. So Instagram as well as Facebook really love the fact if someone goes live, they actually show that to a whole lot more individuals. And especially on Instagram, you get a lot more organic reach when you decide to go live on Instagram. You even have a notification pop up. So anyone that you follow, and most of you might have seen that, if someone goes live and you follow their profile, it actually sends you a notification. So the same could be possible for you. So if you want to do a property report, it's maybe a Thursday evening at 6 o'clock, and you have a property report that you want to give about what's happening in the local area, a quick 5-minute session, you have the benefit of being pushed through to all of the individuals that follow you. So if you've got a good client base that you've already included as followers and they're following you back, it's a great way to market yourself, because it sends them notifications without you needing to almost do it on their behalf. Instagram does the hard work for you. The same thing applies with IGTV. So IG is Instagram's TV. It's basically like YouTube for Instagram. It's for longer form content, more than 60 seconds. It will then move over to Instagram TV. The benefit with Instagram TV, you can actually put in links. So you can actually have videos and you'll be able to add in some links in there, and people then can go to a different website or to one of your pages. So if you do a virtual tour of a property and it's more than 60 seconds long, you can actually add links in there, and we'll take the individual, if they like what they see, they can obviously go and see the actual listing live on your website, or maybe experience the full Matterport or 3D tour, whatever you want to do. Instagram TV is fantastic because, again, we're getting a lot of people seeing that content for free. Instagram knows that it's not been doing exceptionally well. It's actually been maybe one of the lesser adopted platforms. But again, if they want something to work, they're going to push for it. And the benefit is, if you start adopting that and actually adding content onto your Instagram TV, you'll have the benefit of, again, being discovered more organically and not having to do all the hard work. The Instagram algorithm actually does all the hard work for you, and your content gets found by more individuals that will resonate with it. The one thing about Instagram TV, you'll need to first download the application. So it's IGTV. It will just go through the process of linking your account, your existing Instagram account, to your profile. And then from there, you'll be able to see, obviously, other people you follow that already have content on Instagram TV. And then from there, you can obviously upload whatever long form video you have. Try not to go too over the top in terms of length. People don't really like to watch long form videos. We don't see the trends going that direction. It's still not, like I said, it's trying to be like YouTube, but it's not at that point where people are on YouTube at least willing to watch longer periods of time. But Instagram TV, it seems like 3 minutes, as far as I can see, is a good amount of time to be sharing something. So we're pretty much done for our Instagram training session. I know this is a mouthful of information that we've been going through. I really want to thank you all for taking the time to be here today. I really hope that there's something that you maybe could take from today's session. I'll be distributing some of the more detailed stuff that's maybe a bit more complex to go into detail just with everyone. I really hope that, like I said, there's something you can take from today's session and you can go and update your profile. By next month, I'm going to have the same day, at least in terms of end of the month, doing another training session. We're going to talk about calendars. So I'm already prepping for that. So I want to challenge you all to see what can we change about our Instagram profiles. And next time when I see you, I'm hoping that we've got some good stories of adding new followers, creating some really viral posts that have been successful. So I'm there with you. Honestly, you're going to see a lot of stuff from me coming in the next month, and also testing a lot of stuff. So seeing if we can actually capitalize on a lot of the organic stuff that we can benefit from. So awesome. I really hope that you had a great day, and all the best. Good luck, everyone. Have a fantastic day. Cheers. Bye-bye.